This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another sports catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy for today, August 27th, used to play in the NFL for Oakland and Dallas. He was a decorated player in college, being a finalist for the Heisman Trophy twice. He was highly touted coming out of the college and drafted in the top 5 in the NFL draft. Consistency didn't help him in the NFL, but it helped him get to the College Football Hall of Fame in 2019. His name, Darren McFadden, who's now 36 years old. And yes, you may be thinking, well, you picked him because he played college ball for one specific school, which you'll see, which of course you see. If you're watching this, you'll see this. You'll see the picture, but if you're not watching it, then I'll have to describe it to you. Anyway, Darren McFadden was born in Little Rock, Arkansas, August 1987. He was the 10th of 12 children. A bit of his family members actually were drug addicted. Anyway, he was the top guy from the state of Arkansas in running and all that. Tennessee, Alabama, and Auburn all wanted McFadden, but he decided to attend the University of Arkansas right there and there. SOOEY! So for 3 seasons, he was one of the key running backs for the Razorbacks. His debut came against Missouri State in 2005. He did pretty well for himself. He put up 190 yards and 2 touchdowns against Georgia, and then 187 yards against South Carolina. Arkansas did win only 4 games, but still, he ran for 1,100 yards in his true freshman season. Pretty good, don't you think? He was named SEC Freshman of the Year. And then in 2006, he became the #1 running back and all that. He would have a dislocated toe, but he still got 1,647 yards, a school record, and 5th in SEC history at that point. He's scoring 14 touchdowns. He actually threw for 3 touchdowns himself. He would do quite well. 219 yards against South Carolina. Arkansas won 10 games, won the SEC West, which meant they were going to the SEC Championship. Unfortunately, though, they lost both that and the Capital One Bowl, or as it's now called, the Citrus Bowl, to Wisconsin. Ticking me off, of course. McFadden was named one of the 3 finalists with Troy Smith and Brady Quinn. Troy Smith of OSU, Brady Quinn from Notre Dame. McFadden would take second behind Troy Smith. And people think that was a gigantic Heisman snub. McFadden became the first sophomore to win the NCAA Top Running Back Award. And he was SEC Offensive Player of the Year. So, anyway. Before the 2007 season, McFadden was believed to be a top 5 pick if he declared for the 2008 NFL Draft. He was tipped to be #1 and all that. McFadden did quite well. His first 5 games, he had 120 yards or more running. It looked like he was a lock and all that. He put up 321 yards against South Carolina, which was an SEC record. And McFadden was one of the 3-headed running back monster for Felix Jones and Peyton Hillis that helped Arkansas beat #1 ranked LSU 50-48 on Black Friday in 2007 and won the Golden Boot for Arkansas. And it was supposed to put LSU out of running for the national championship game, but because of the whole crapola that 2007's college football season was remembered for, it's one of the craziest, if not the craziest, college football season of all time. LSU still went to the final because, well, their 2 losses were by triple overtime. Anyway, yeah. Arkansas got their asses whooped by Missouri at the Cotton Bowl thanks to Tony Temple's running thing. McFadden decided to declare for the NFL Draft. By any measure, he did pretty well. He won the Doak Walker Award for Running Back of the Year in the NCAA for the 2nd year in a row. Put up 1,829 yards rushing, which was very good. He was the second player, alongside Ricky Williams from the University of Texas, to win that Doak Walker Trophy twice. Unfortunately, though, McFadden would be runner-up for the 2007 Heisman Trophy winner. But he actually was not that far off. He only lost by 200-plus points to Tim Tebow in the voting, making him the first guy since 1949 to be runner-up in Heisman voting in consecutive years. So anyway, McFadden was the most decorated player in Arkansas history, holding a lot of records and all that. When he left Arkansas after his third year, he had 4,590 yards. Well, sorry. It's third all-time now. He's behind only Herschel Walker and Nick Chubb. Some say he was the best player in Arkansas history. I would agree. Anyway. But EA said that McFadden would be the cover athlete for the Xbox 360's version of NCAA Football 9, not the PS2 version. I don't remember if I had that version, 09. I know sometimes I would always get the next version up and all that. I don't remember buying NCAA 09. I know I had NCAA 11 for the longest time. So anyway, yeah. Oh, family play mode for the PS2. Deshaun Jackson was the cover athlete for PS2. No, I didn't buy the Deshaun Jackson thing. Anyway, he went through the NFL Combine, and then he went to the 2008 NFL Draft. Would he be picked number 1? No. Miami would take Jake Long, offensive tackle from Michigan. The Rams would take Chris Long from Virginia, and the Falcons would take Matty Ryan, or Matty Ice as they call him, from Boston College. So Oakland decided, hey, we need a running back. So Darren McFadden goes to the Raiders. So yeah, that was huge and all that. He ended up signing a 6-year, $60 million contract with $26 million in guarantees. Contract negotiations were rapid because Raider fans were fearful there would be another holdout. However, McFadden wasn't really that much interested in a holdout. McFadden made his debut against the Broncos, getting 46 yards on 9 carries. Although in the second game against Kansas City, he would score his first NFL touchdown in the second game, putting him 164 games. Sadly, though, his big toe got injured and it limited him, making him lose 3 games. He picked up 499 yards on only 113 attempts with 4 touchdowns. The Raiders were criticized for not playing McFadden later in the season. McFadden would have numerous injuries and would only have 357 rushing yards in 09. 2010, he had some stuff, but unfortunately hamstring injury would ruin him and all that. However, he did have 4 touchdowns against the Broncos October 2010. Well, he had 3 touchdown runs and a catch for a touchdown, making him the 4th Raider to get 4 touchdowns in a game. I was named AFC Offensive Player of the Year. Unfortunately, he would struggle, in a sense, in a few games. But, he was very productive, despite only playing 13 games. He had 1,157 yards running, got 506 yards receiving, and had 10 total touchdowns. So, it wasn't whole that bad. McFadden, in the season opener in 2011 against the Broncos, would run for 150 yards. McFadden actually in week 6 was leading the league in running with 610 yards, so over 100 yards a game and all that. Unfortunately, he would have a chronic foot condition. His chronic foot condition would shut him down for the remainder of the season. So that just sucked. He came back in 2012 and struggled. Only 707 rushing yards. And he missed another 4 games. Ay. And then in 2013, he only appeared in 10 games for 379 yards. He had a massive decline. 2014 was the first time that McFadden played a full season, but it didn't work out that way. He would share time with Latavius Murray, and then once the Raider contract expired, he went to Dallas for 2 years to replace DeMarco Murray. He would be the lead running back in week 7 against the Giants, replacing Joe Randall. He remained as a starter And strange as was, he ran in for 1,089 yards after only gaining 129 yards in his first 5 games. So he played all 16 games. And he was good for running and all that. And McFadden was the first former Razorback to get 2 1,000-yard rushing seasons in an NFL career. Not even the great Barry Foster, who was the NFL rushing champion in 1992 and a Razorback, by the way, could do that. Well, Foster got hurt and all that. He would break his right elbow in an off-field incident before the 2016 season. And McFadden was replaced by Ezekiel Elliott on the depth chart as being number 1 and all that. He was named a starter for the season finale against the Eagles to rest Elliott for the playoffs. McFadden would still play for the Cowboys, but then he asked for his release because he was a healthy scratch practically all but one day. And then he decided to retire after 10 years in the NFL. It wasn't much. He only played 103 games in the NFL, 5,400 rushing yards, and 28 touchdowns. Imagine what it would have been like if he was healthy. How many more yards? I think he would have gone maybe to 10,000 yards. McFadden has 5 children with 3 different women, so not really the best thing and all that. McFadden was arrested for drunk driving, and on Valentine's Day 2020, he pleaded guilty to a DWI, driving while intoxicated, not driving under influence, driving with influence, and was given 4 days in jail. Despite all that, I mean, Darren McFadden did a lot for the University of Arkansas and made it prominent and all that. Yeah, Peyton Hillis was a Madden cover athlete and struggled in Cleveland and Denver for that matter. And Felix Jones, unfortunately, didn't really do too well in the NFL himself. I know he played for Dallas as well, but he wasn't that bad. But he wasn't good either. But the fact of the matter is that D-Mac will always hold a special place in my heart as one of the best, if not the best, Arkansas Razorbacks of all time. Pig SOOEY! Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do